Good morning, Singapore, and welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is award-winning psychologist from the therapy room, Dr. Geraldine Tan. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning.
Jerry.
The skies are cloudy, and it's almost, I think it's going to rain soon.
So depressing,
No
this weather.
surprise there. Yeah.
Do you get?
No,
do you get-
it's my favorite time of the year, actually. I love the rain.
Yeah, the rain is nice.
But you know,
Except
for-
when you have to play golf.
No, but for many people, it is a condition as well. Some people during, if they experience too much of this weather,
Yeah.
they come down with a condition called SAD.
SAD.
It's true. It is a condition.
It is a more depressive time for a few people, isn't it, Dr. Jerry?
Seasonal Affective Disorder
Correct.
is the
Oh,
sad,
it is. I
yes.
did not know that.
They thought I was kidding.
Yeah, no, I thought you were talking
Seasonal
about
affective
sad.
disorder.
I thought you were just talking about sad.
No, it's
being sad. Okay.
Seasonal affective disorder.
Oh.
Correct. It's a real thing, right, Jerry? Do you get people coming to see you a little bit more often during this time of the year?
Not really in Singapore, but when you are talking about countries with the 4 seasons, yes, it's quite apparent because the skies are gloomy, they have to stay indoors, they are very cooped up, they do get that SAD, SAD.
Yeah, and also like in the countries with 4 seasons, they also have to depend on electricity and heating and all that to keep them warm. So those that don't get it will get even more depressed because they don't have that.
For sure.
Okay, but we're not talking about sad today, right?
We're talking
No,
about
we are not.
violence.
Violence.
We're talking about violence in teens.
Teens. And I must share, I was I was supposed to do, I am supposed to do this topic. And then this morning, I became a monster with my teens. I was screaming in the car with my teens. Yeah, so I'm smiling now. But, this morning, in less than an hour ago, the scene was not like that at all. Jerry was just like a screaming monster. Yeah, and I was trying to reconcile, like, oh my God, I'm going to come on air and talk about violence in teen, but boy, was I quite as... Not, I wasn't rude or anything, but I was quite screamy and violent in my words, right? Like,
Wow. At
okay,
least
it's
you
good.
admit that.
They deserve it sometimes. Yeah, sometimes they need
Sometimes
to be
kids need it.
shouted at.
I'm up for discussion. It doesn't mean that a psychologist is human. I'm happy to share and discuss. And I believe, so I'm a person that believes in spare the rod and spoil the child. If they need to be scolded, if they need that occasional whack, I would actually whack them to the horror of many people.
You my girl.
Yeah, but
Talk to Neil, FD. FD never raised his hand even once
Oh, you're wrong.
on his children.
You're wrong.
He spoils his kids.
No, my children have all been whacked at some
Cannot
point.
whack. You cannot whack
see these kind of
girls.
things.
You gotta
You can
spank.
whack guys, but you can't whack girls.
No, of course you can. It depends on how
I
you do
whack
it.
my
Oh,
Yeah,
See?
there you go.
maybe we should play a
Yes,
song
I-
now.
Psychologists also wax
Yeah, but
a
the
girl.
mother can whack, the father cannot. If I had a daughter, oh my God, she would be so spoiled.
Cannot.
You have to use some pain once in a while.
Yeah.
we can discuss it later on.
Yeah,
Yes,
let's
we
discuss it
will.
on the
Yes,
Big Show
Okay,
TV.
on the Big
Yeah,
Show
yeah.
TV. All right. Here's Wham! Club Tropicana on 1FM 91.3. Yes. Let's discuss the daughter I don't have.
Yeah, let's
Yes,
discuss abuse.
No, we're
Child
not
services
quite
are
discussing
standing
that.
by already.
No, and I think what Shaun said is right. You have child services standing by, and it's because I think a lot of parents are very protective of their children. I was just talking to my daughter the other day, and we were talking about corporal punishment in school, and she said, "No one will touch my child except me."
Exactly. I stand by that also. No one touches my child
Yeah.
except me.
Yeah.
So they can't be caned in school.
No.
But then FD said, did you say you were going to complete your
I was
sentence?
going to complete
Yeah.
the sentence, and I said, what happens if the child does something at 7 a.m. in the morning, and you don't get to discipline your child till 7 a.m. at night?
Is that
7 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
That's a 12-hour gap.
So?
How effective is that? 12 hours.
But are you allowed to tell the schools not to touch your kids? I mean, you can, right? They need your permission, don't they?
Most schools will request for the parents' permission.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not in my day.
But even
Yeah,
things,
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
even things like detention, can they do that now?
Detention is different. Detention
Detention's
is
different.
you can make them stay behind.
I think
for
we're
punishment.
talking about corporal punishment.
It's corporal
Like caning
punishment.
only.
Caning, like physical stuff.
Yeah.
My teacher used to walk around with a cane, just
Yeah, mine
really,
too.
yeah.
Mine too.
Back in the day, they didn't need permission. I
No
think Now
permission,
they
no
do.
reason at all.
Yeah, but now
Now
it's
it's
different.
It's different.
Yeah.
Times
It's a
are
different
different.
time.
I used to get
Times are different.
cane in
Let's think
school.
about it. Since we are on that, right? Does caning really deter any form of behavior?
It's just shameful. Like when I was in
It
school,
is public
it's like
shaming.
anyone who had like public caning or
Yeah.
even being caned in the classroom, for example, right? It's
It's a certain
It
stigma
doesn't-
that sticks
Yeah.
to you.
To be
yeah.
honest, having
it's humiliating.
It is.
having caned my children and had them grow up, and having been caned in school, it does nothing for you.
True.
Because the shame lasts all of one day.
Wait, your kids have been caned in school?
No, I
He
have
has.
caned them. But it is
No,
absolutely
he's
of no
been
use.
caned in school.
Yeah.
It is absolutely of no use.
True, especially in a boys' school.
Yeah, in a boys' school. Because, for one day you're shamed and the next day all
Everybody's
your friends are back.
laughing at you,
Okay,
Yeah.
done,
That's
it
it.
does nothing.
I used to get cane and I asked my discipline master, why is it just in case?
Yeah.
Huh?
Really?
What do you mean?
Just like in case you make.
So you
do
hadn't
something-
made any mistakes?
Nothing. No, but we'll laugh about it. He'll
Yeah.
laugh about it also.
I saw the difference when my daughter was in school and she had a teacher.
That's what happens when you go to like funny schools.
Yeah.
Funny.
No, but like my
Neighborhood
daughter,
schools,
our daughters, when they were in school, towards the end of their secondary school, a teacher came in and he was very much, I want to talk to you. I don't want to raise my hand to you.
Oh.
I will talk everything out with you.
Which is a
it
good
was
thing.
a long process, but it changed them.
The kids?
Yeah. It changed them. The talking, the oh my God, someone really cares.
And wants to listen as
Yeah.
well.
Changed them more than the cane
I
ever
don't buy
would.
this. Jerry, what do you think, Jerry?
I would say, okay, so you already know that, I stand by spare the rod and spoil the child, but it's how we actually do it. So I always tell parents, right, never use a rotan, never use a rod, never use an extension of something, because you cannot feel that
The power.
the power and how much strength
Yeah.
you use, because sometimes you are angry, although we can say till the cows come home, don't hit when you're angry, but sometimes you are, right? And then when you whack down, you forget your strength, right? So, using your hand, the child, you can feel the strength. Now, you have certain emotions. That's why you're feeling angry. Maybe you're disappointed with the child. Maybe you are feeling very shamed even, in that situation. Your child with your skin contact actually feels that emotion. But if you don't, have any skin contact, the child doesn't know, it doesn't feel it. They just feel that you're just angry and they are wrong.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah, and in the caning in prisons, so there's always this debate of whether it is effective or not effective. And it really is up for everyone to discuss about it. Some people really swear by it and say must cane, and that really helps. I don't think it helps at all. You get someone trained with martial arts to wield that whip. And is the person really repentful? I mean, when we cane someone, what are we trying to achieve, right? We are trying to check in whether this person knows what they've done wrong. Are they remorseful for what they have done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that whip only instills fear. And that's only a small fraction of them. They fear. So that's why I don't do that level of behavior or activity that will get me caned. doesn't mean that I won't do other behaviors or criminal behaviors. And then there's a larger group who get very angry and resentful. And what does this group do? They take revenge.
Revenge, yeah. So you're saying therapy is the best kind of way to heal people?
Well, if they are able to undergo therapy, because not all characters can, right? Because there are some with psychopaths, we spoke about that. Some are, have personality disorders, which they cannot, is their block, their obstacle. They cannot see past their behavior. But there are a good number, a fair number that we can do therapy and speak with them also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because some people after caning, right, they get messed up. Just like, remember years ago, Michael Fay?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't know whether he was telling the truth or not. I mean, he claimed that, it scarred him for
well, we don't know what he's been up to since. We don't know
he's
what
been scarred for the rest of his life.
But yeah, we don't know what's happened to him after.
Yeah, nobody
at all.
quite knows.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I mean, when I was in school, I was afraid of getting caned. I mean,
yeah,
maybe
but
I'm different from
but school caning is different from a Michael Fay jail caning.
But that afraid of being caned, did it stop you from being naughty?
I was a very good boy.
Was it because of the caning?
Were you a good boy, or was it your fear of the cane?
No, I think I was a good boy.
Exactly. So
then what happened?
The fear of the cane didn't play any role. Therefore, the fear of the cane didn't play any role.
Yeah, but
because you were a good boy.
But I was always afraid, like if I do something, I might get
So it was a little bit of the fear of the pain.
Humiliated in front of the school.
Yeah, so it was a little bit. I got traffic.
So it is a deterrent.
Yeah.
Good morning and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. And on The Big Show TV, we were talking about caning earlier on. Yeah. I'm against caning. All of these people here are for caning.
Oh, okay. All you have to do is head to our Facebook page and watch the video to see who was against caning and who wasn't.
It wasn't, yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, that wasn't the topic that we initially started out on. It was supposed to be violence in teens, and we haven't even broached the subject yet. So, Dr. Jerry, why the topic today?
Yeah, because, we've been seeing a lot of videos of teens beating up another teen. And
we saw that fitness corner.
Yeah.
The fitness corner, car parks, so many of them. And this year itself is only in the first month. We're at the end of the first month, and there are actually 2. And, it's very, very shocking. So I think what came up was, has it really increased, and why has it increased? I don't know whether it's an actual increase or not. We do know that even how long have I been in this line? 20 years ago, you had your rioting, you had your secret society, you had fights in school also.
Correct.
But these were never recorded with a device, nor uploaded anywhere at all. So is there a real increase? There is an increase in the media coverage. That means, in all the social media. But teens do fight. Do they fight more than other age group? Maybe they do. There's not enough research that shows. But they are at that developmental stage where it's a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
They have the physique to cause pain and harm and hurt. They have a little bit of intellect and concept, but not enough sophistication. They are able to articulate, but not very eloquently, the whole range of expression. So what do they resort to? They resort to using their hands, their legs, their fists, for those that don't use their hands and fists, they can spit.
Is this a form of frustration? I can't get my point across. Therefore, I'll beat it into you.
Yeah, so many of them, they can't share it verbally, so they share it overtly using their behaviors.
So that's a level of, that's basically down to maturity, that they don't have that level of maturity yet to be able to articulate it verbally.
So maturity also comes with learning. So some of them have not learned, and that's why you see a larger number of them who have family issues that would, be more violent.
I think it just looks violent, but no one was seriously hurt.
But still, I mean,
Right.
the very fact that they decided that that's what they needed to resort to, it doesn't matter if someone.
But it's been going on for years.
It has.
and
It
years.
has.
I
it has.
think I think teens used to be even more violent during my time, like 20 over years ago.
we had the sharp combs.
Yeah.
and all
And
that.
they use weapons.
Yeah.
A lot of
Exactly.
them use
exactly.
weapons.
These
yeah.
days, it's like some of them like getting kicked and beaten.
I don't know if
many
they
of
like
them,
it.
Many of them have proper training as well.
Formal training,
Sometimes.
Yeah, but the
Like,
problem is...
I don't know if anyone likes to be on the receiving end of it.
Yeah, the point
though.
is,
Some people
many
do.
people have training. Is the guy lying on the floor who's being kicked in the head the guy with the training, or the other guys with the training?
Usually, the people who can fight won't fight.
Yeah.
I always
If
say this,
that
right?
is true.
People who can
Yeah.
fight won't fight.
Yeah.
It's the people who can't fight who
That
want to
think
fight.
they can.
So let them play among themselves and hit each
Oh,
other.
wow. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like they don't know what they're doing anyway.
I totally disagree with
It's
Glenn.
part
on
and
that.
parcel of growing up.
Glenn
Yeah,
reckons
but
these
it's-
fights
you
are
think,
play.
Yeah, it's not play, is it? And does anyone like getting hit?
Sparring and fighting different, right?
Yes,
Sparring
that's
is different. But fighting, when it is filled with so much anger and frustration, and that's what we see from the videos, right? So much frustration, so much vulgarities,
Yeah.
and it's just full on whacking. That's not sparring anymore.
And
Yeah.
a lot
You
of
know
the
that-
time,
that-
but a
that's
lot of the time
violence.
they're like 5 on one
On one.
person. You never see
Hey,
a
that's Krav
one-on-one.
Maga for you.
Yeah, but they're
No,
not
yeah,
in
guy
a,
knows
but
what
they're
to do.
not in a
No.
proper area. They don't have a
No.
proper trainer. They don't have proper training.
Don't take a discipline
Yeah.
and put it with a
On a playground and
on
say
a
that's what
playground
they're doing.
with
Yeah.
a bunch of bullies.
Yeah, this is true.
I mean, it may look like that. Like if you watch a Krav Maga video, right, or something like that, and then you go like, "Hey, what is this? How come like 15 people are hammering one person?" But
Yeah, but that's not what the
the way-
boys are thinking when they're, all the girls are thinking when
rage,
they're on the,
Yeah.
it's angst and
But
rage.
did anybody go to the hospital?
Yes.
Yes, the boy got sent to the
Don't bluff.
hospital.
Well, the Straits Times reported it. Would you like to read
Yeah.
it?
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Yes, he did. He did.
How many stitches?
Don't
Not
know.
the point.
But
Not
you
the
see,
point.
no, but you see, Glenn, when does enough become enough? You know what I mean? I mean, you
Yeah.
see, okay, maybe he has no stitches now. He's got a couple of bruises, this and that. But then when is it too much?
Yeah, but you watch the UFC, it's like, oh my goodness.
But the
it's-
UFC,
it's-
they're there by choice.
And yeah,
They've chosen
these
to
guys
be there.
They chose to be there.
Yeah, but what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say is maybe these kids
Chose to
uh,
be there and get beaten
well,
up.
Maybe after
No,
watching the
no.
UFC,
Set a time and place, and
Right, no, that is true
they
as well.
might be
yes.
influenced by that. Right?
Yes.
I've
So-
always stood by this.
UFC
Dr. Jerry,
or one
Do
championship.
you think content out there is an influence in how people are behaving, whether it's gaming or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, or challenge maybe?
Yeah, there's a lot more information out there. So our young children, they see it and they don't know how to discern, right? So they then just adopt it, use it. A lot of young children, I actually quite appalled because they hear about the shootings and say Singapore should have firearms also.
Yes.
So they
Yeah.
cannot discern.
Yeah.
But just a point on the martial arts. I think the difference is that in martial arts, there's a lot of respect. And even when there is sparring, it's the permission from both sides that is
Yeah.
given.
Consensual.
So when there is a fight and someone gets beaten up, there's no respect and there's no permission given.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference there. So we cannot compare the martial arts to a fight. That would be, there's no comparison there.
Go
Go
ahead, Jerry.
No, because then jumping back to, the what we see, what we are exposed to in the media about what is cool, what is sexy. The children can be misled very often by shooting, and they think is so cool. I can do that too. Or wow, this person can fight so many people. I also want to try. So they might want to do and emulate the wrong hero.
I think also kids don't understand the whole respect that you brought up. What they see is violence and it's glamorized. So violence is now glamorous. Violence is cool. They don't see the art, the martial art behind it, the discipline behind it, because they're too young.
You know what? If you have something to say and you're watching us right now, we'd love to hear from you. You can send us a voice note on our WhatsApp at 88550913. Type it in the comments box. Send it to us on WhatsApp, whichever way you want to do it. We can play a little bit of that and we can find out what you think about the topic today, violence in teens.
Yes, we want to hear your beautiful voice.
Yeah, we'd love voice notes. Yes, we definitely want to
So
hear
what are
from
you saying, FD? Are you saying that you are against organizations like the UFC and One
No,
Championship?
I think to a certain... No, I'm not, because it's a sport.
Yeah.
It's a sport. There's discipline. There are doctors on hand. There's everything.
Yeah.
But I think what happens
So
now
those
is...
kids had a doctor, on the
No, it
playground?
doesn't make it right. No.
No,
They
it
need
doesn't
a
make
proper
it right.
area and everything.
Your MMA and all, there's two guys who agreed to get
Consensual,
in there, respect
yes.
each other, and fight for a title, fight for whatever.
Shake hands.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, and I think to a certain degree, it's parents who don't explain what this is about. And explain to the children that this is a sport. It's not someone beating someone up, and it's glamorous.
It's upbringing. It's all
but
about
it's-
upbringing.
But it's tough. As a parent, you gotta pick one side. You gotta
Which side?
you gotta either say you are against violence or you are for.
No, I can be for a sport, but against violence.
No.
But it's so violent. There's so much blood in the ring.
No,
and
but
all that.
that's different. It's a very controlled
But I know
area.
some parents who will say no.
Yes.
I'm not for it.
And
Yeah, no,
so be
that's
it.
okay.
But then you're a different parent. You see, that's why you're confusing. You will confuse your kid.
No, no.
Right, no, Jerry. Sometimes it's confusing for the kid, On one hand, oh yeah, daddy, mommy loves watching, fights, on TV, bare knuckle fights, and there's so much blood and all that. But then,
But you cannot condone it outside of the ring.
You
That's
don't
what he's
condone it
saying.
outside of the ring.
Not-
That's exactly
you
what I'm
guys are
saying.
confusing
No,
the children.
one thing
The
that
children
I've
are not
always
listening.
mentioned for parents, right? What are parents? One of the roles of parents is to teach children boundary.
And what the
So we
difference is,
draw
yeah.
boundary lines for different things so that they can contain it. So the UFC, WWF that I grew up with, all that is contained in the ring and perhaps on screen. So all, it doesn't spill out into the real world. And if you are doing a sport, the sport is contained in that space, in that arena, and not go out and pick a fight with anyone on the street. So
But we get viral videos now, Jerry.
I mean,
viral videos of people using, let's say, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And this video goes out, right, viral because someone tries to pick
Emulate
on
it.
someone,
Yeah.
and then they get into a fight, and then it's glamorized.
That's what I'm saying. This is why kids are doing this.
Because
violence has been glamorized.
By social
Gun
media.
ownership has been
By
glamorized.
social media. Yeah. Yeah.
Social media has glamorized all this because the kids don't know. They're too young to
So
understand.
it's down to the education from the parents, the teachers, and
Yes.
everybody else to let them know, like what Dr. Jerry says, where the boundaries lie. Things that you see on social media or on screen does not necessarily make it right.
Yeah, but these kids are already so stupid. How do you expect them to? I mean, early on you were talking
Intelligence we cannot handle.
about these kids who want to pick up firearms because it's got to be a stupid kid.
It
right?
doesn't make them
Glenn.
stupid. It just makes them misinformed. It's not stupid.
When you
Education.
learnt
it's education.
martial arts,
Yeah.
when you learnt martial arts,
30
Yeah.
seconds.
and a lot of these kids haven't learnt martial arts, they're picking it up from what they saw. Right? You learnt martial arts. What's the one thing you walk away with?
Discipline and
correct?
respect.
Oh, and I wanted to
Discipline
use
and
it for
respect.
real as
This
well.
is a
We're back on The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room, and we're talking about teen violence.
Yes, and we've got a couple of comments,
interesting comments
on our Facebook page.
Voice notes?
Not yet. Yeah.
You can keep sending in.
So if you have anything to say about the topic violence in teens, you can always WhatsApp it in to 88550913. Alvin has come on our Facebook page and says, usually the martial arts instructor will educate the student that it is for self-defense, not for fighting or bullying people.
Have you guys watched Cobra Kai?
And Prashant has come back and saying that's correct. It isn't to viciously attack someone else just like that.
See, that's the point, right?
Cobra Kai?
Yep.
No mercy?
No, but correct.
But that's the point.
Back in the day,
That
we
is the
had
point.
we had what is that, Karate Kid as well, with Ralph Macchio as well, and everybody was trying to do that kick and everything else. Doesn't make it right.
You're glamorizing.
Doesn't make it right.
That was such a wimpy kick.
No,
What?
but
No, the kick? Are you kidding?
crane
That
looks
was
like a
great.
flamingo.
The crane was great.
All of us were trying it. I was also trying it.
You were
Oh
I want to see
my
Dr. Jerry do
goodness.
but this is the thing, Jerry. How much of surely social media and movies and television play a huge part in the amount of violence we have today.
Yep. It does play a part. It does play a part. That's why for the teens and the young ones that are growing up and cannot discern, they are still exploring what is real, what is not real. We have the social responsibility to teach them, and parents also teach them. I mean, I hear my teen going, and it's my teen, right? Going like, oh, so cool to go and hit someone, and I don't know what he watched, right? It must be some manga or something like that. And I have to go, well, it's whatever that you've watched, and it's cool there, but it's not cool anywhere else. So, but it is very, very difficult because the bombardment of all these influences is so much and far greater than our voices. So it takes collective voice from all those that actually know what is real and what is, on screen to educate our young ones.
But it's funny that kids always think it's so much fun to go and hit someone, but have they ever thought what it would be like if they were on the receiving end of it?
They don't think about consequences. That's why their brains have not reached that maturation level.
You see, and that's why I was talking to you early on about Krav Maga, right? Because that's the whole point. They want you to feel what it's like being hit. So
Is it really? Is that what the point is?
Yes, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So like that kid on the playground, right? You never know. Perhaps maybe say, okay, bring it on. And after you've received like a beating, in future you won't fear getting hit.
So it's
what I
kind
mean?
of like pain therapy?
And then you become stronger.
Yeah.
Like
No.
pain therapy?
I
I don't think
No.
that's what
Yes.
it was.
No,
I don't
think
agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
it's because you guys don't know. you
Why?
see.
Because
Never
you've
taken
been
martial
hurt.
arts.
Because you've been hurt, that you won't
trying
feign
to-
that
You won't
won't-
fear a punch. if
I'm
you
trying
got
to
punched before.
educate you guys about certain concepts, like as I mentioned Krav Maga earlier on.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I understand what you're saying, but
You know what I mean?
you can't expect me to accept that because I don't accept that. I think if I've been beaten, I'd be scared to death.
Not really.
To be around anyone who has the potential to beat me.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's FD. He looks the type.
If you accept or don't accept, it's happening.
FD
so no
looks the
choice.
type. You slap him once, that's
Oh,
it.
dear.
Okay. I'm like, okay, I'm afraid he'll
Okay,
slap
guys.
me
Okay,
again.
okay, calm down now. Calm
I
down.
think you guys have kiss and make up.
No, but
Yeah.
Jerry,
It's not that.
Jerry, what's
Come
your
on,
take?
slap me again.
No,
One more time. Come on,
oh,
slap the other side.
Shh. Okay.
Sorry.
Calm down.
Bravado.
My goodness. Wow.
Absolute bravado.
All these boys thumping their chests.
Jerry, what do you think?
Love
What do you think? We'll come back with what Jerry thinks about all of this, okay? Jerry,
Yes,
Y'all need to
Kiss
you've
and
been
make up, yeah.
beaten, therefore you will not be afraid of being beaten again.
This is not me
This is
saying
called
it.
training.
That's not a concept that we want
No.
to advocate
Encourage.
for.
No.
I mean, if you're talking about martial arts, I agree with you. Facing your fears is one thing, but going and beat someone up and, saying, bring it on and goading the other person to beat you, I don't think that's the way.
And I don't think that's what this child was.
Go and tell the master of Krav Maga that.
No, it's very different. That's a martial arts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's totally different. And for, where we look at the screen or we look at the media and we have such a I don't know, fantasy about what you use the word glamorized. I use the word fantasy because each time I hear or I see, people beating up or the superhero beating up and people saying it's cool, it reminds me of my childhood, and I'm not sure whether you remember or not, where Superman was so in a rage before trending. And the little one was putting on capes and trying to fly off tables. And one little boy actually flew off his HDB flat and died.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he thought he could fly.
I grew up with that.
Yes.
Don't bring up intelligence here, Glenn.
Don't do that.
Don't.
It's a little boy.
Yeah.
And that day, that parent lost a child because of fantasy.
Yeah.
So I think we all need to remind our children what is fantasy and what is reality.
Prashant has an interesting comment, Jerry. He says, learning martial arts is like this, in the words of George Washington. To be prepared for war, is one of the most effective means of preserving peace. So some countries spend much on military training and budgets to ensure peacekeeping measures. So in other words, to be ready to fight helps keep the peace.
It's for defense, not offense.
No. And I understand what you're saying, Prashant, but a lot of parents use that exact thought and do it the wrong way. I'm going to teach my son to fight so that the bullies won't touch him.
That's okay. What?
Listen,
Okay.
there's always a bully that can beat you. And when your son is beaten and your son's in hospital, then tell me what you did is correct.
You can't say that to the. I'm with those parents. Okay, if I have a kid, let's say, okay, and my kid gets beaten up or rather, someone is bullying my kid, I want my kid to stand up for himself.
Dr. Jerry?
I'm not the kind of parent who will say,
what?
"Oh,
No, by doing what? What
so
would
if he
it-
punches you once, you punch him twice back."
Dr. Jerry?
I agree with the defense. I would not say, I would
offense.
not go for offense. So if you're going around trying to beat up a bully, that's not your responsibility. But if you are in that position where you need to stand up for yourself, stand up for yourself. That's the right thing to do.
But is violence the only way to stand up for yourself?
I mean, it really depends, right? If the bully is really punching you and you need to protect
Hit back,
yourself,
Yeah.
you do, stand up for yourself.
And if you know how to punch back, you punch back. Or what?
It depends on the situation, yes.
I say learning how to film is more important.
Which is why I will always get my kid, if I had a kid, to take up self-defense classes.
No, that's okay.
Because then
that's fine.
Not only will the kid be able to defend himself, if someone goes on the offensive, he can go on the offensive back. There's always that option.
But that is okay. That is under protection, but not going around and beating people up.
Of course not. That's not.
Don't be the bully.
I'm saying
Don't be the bully. Yeah.
you beat the bully up.
It's a very interesting. It's a very
No,
interesting
it's
topic.
like because I can't believe that you actually said that about other parents.
No,
What?
because I understand where these parents are coming from. It's not a bully comes to me. In other words, when a bully comes to me, and I've heard this from parents, before the blow is struck, you stand up and you challenge.
Oh, a lot of that happens.
You don't need to do
That's
that.
ego.
Yeah,
That's ego already. You've lost the plot. You've lost the plot.
Then it's a disrespect in that sense, you see. So
You've
both
lost the
sides-
plot already.
Yeah, that's why.
But if someone wants to fight with me, and I show that, look, I'm ready, what's wrong with that?
I don't need to.
I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight with
Why
you.
can't I turn around and walk away? No. I'm just asking the
punch
question.
limit.
I'm asking. Then you're talking imaging. You're not talking smart person.
No. Actually, some parents are okay. Luckily, you don't have a son. No, I tell you.
Yeah.
If you teach your son this, he'll get beaten up all the time.
I'm
No,
not saying
I
not
don't
true.
know.
Not true.
Yeah.
That's
The one
how I
that
feel.
walks away is the one that is actually very brave to be able to walk away and stand their ground.
After you get slapped and beaten.
No,
Is it?
it's
after you
before
get
he
slapped
beats
and
you.
beaten.
You walk away before he beats you.
If he doesn't want to let you walk away,
You run.
You run.
come on.
Then you'll be running for,
Please.
No, I'm joking. That was a
I
joke.
run to the
disagree.
principal's office.
Yes.
I disagree.
Sometimes
Complain.
you got to
Complain,
do
yes.
Complain.
what
Just
you got to
be-
do.
Yeah.
I think
You
it's
know-
situational. I think if someone hits you and you are able to hit back,
Then
yes,
you defend
protect
yourself. That's
You-
defense.
You, defend yourself.
That's defense.
But I think what we're talking about are bullies that beat on children and start fights in areas where they can't defend themselves.
Yep.
5 to
And
1.
Ever heard
20
of the
to 1.
line, "You've picked on the wrong person"?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Think I look like I can be bullied so easily. Okay, come lah.
You see, you now are the antagonist. Come lah.
it's only-
You've become the antagonist.
It's only because 5 of these boys, hit this one guy and then he got injured.
Yeah.
But in like Glenn's case, if this guy is trained, these 5 would have
Would
been
be in hospital.
Yeah, the other way
Correct.
around.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
So it's not a fair judgment.
Have you watched Iman?
I'm not
you see,
I was told it was
I'm not
IP
going to
man.
take
It's
any
IP.
reference.
It's IP
I'm not
man.
going to take
It's
any
IP man.
reference
It's IP
of your
I
for
always
your
thought it was
movies.
IP man.
IP man. I'm not going to take any reference of your movies or whatever because that's a movie.
Because you're a James Bond person.
No,
just
that's
use
a
guns.
movie.
No, but
That's a
you cannot
movie.
take movie
That is
reference like
not
Dr. Jerry
real
said.
life.
Okay.
Fantasy,
Gaming,
fantasy.
yeah,
Huh?
it's fantasy.
Ip Man is not real?
IP man.
It's
He
a
created
movie.
Jeet Kune Do, no?
Who's Jinkundo?
It's a movie.
The martial arts.
No,
guy,
that's Bruce Lee.
Yeah, the Bruce Lee's trainer.
Bruce Lee created Jeet Kune Do.
Oh.
That's Wing Chun.
Don't ask
Wing
me,
Chun.
Jerry.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
right.
What
Ip
a
Man
man.
is Wing Chun.
Not Wang Chun? Okay.
Yeah.
Wang Chun.
But whatever that you see on screen is what they call screen fighting.
Yeah.
There actually is something called screen fighting, and I
Of
learned it
course.
from my young teen friend who said, everything you see on screen, we have to practice and no one gets hurt.
Of course.
Yes, it's a dance, of course.
You see, and that's why.
Even your WWE and all that, you know, they practice.
Which is why now there's MMA, right? And MMA is
it's
real.
Real,
Yeah.
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 Right.
Mixed
Traffic and
martial
traffic.
arts is real.
Traffic.
I mean, you use it to defend yourself.
I say the best defense is carry mode. Anything happens, just whip out your phone and film.
This is true.
Good morning and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is award-winning psychologist from the therapy room, Dr. Geraldine Tan. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning.
So interesting, the comments. Prashant says learning self-defense techniques isn't the same as violence, and I totally agree with him. Learning
No, it's
self-defense for the sake of defense is fine. Wong Ah Lun comes out and goes, the best form of defense is offense. Beat them before they beat you.
Correct. I agree.
No.
I agree with that.
Everyone can have their say.
I agree.
no.
You know, there's so many adults, and maybe FD is one of them. Maybe you got beaten up when you were a kid or whatever. I
Did
don't
you?
know.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you see, but you grow up right feeling like a loser. No?
Oh.
It doesn't.
Wow.
Wow, that's a strong
You just feel
word.
like, oh,
Whoa, hold
you know,
on,
back,
hold on.
in- back, in-
Jerry,
back
Jerry,
in
give
the
me a
day.
second. Wait, hold on.
Hold on.
You just called me a
No,
loser.
I'm saying there are many
you
people.
said I grew
okay,
up
I apologize.
feeling like
Feeling
a
like a
loser.
loser.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I apologize.
apologize.
I don't want to talk about FD. You are out of this. I'm talking about all the other people who have been bullied, right, as kids. And
They
have
may
been,
be a lot stronger now,
have been-
though.
Yeah, lah, but let's talk about the people who are still...
Who didn't outgrow that.
Didn't outgrow
Yeah.
that and think about it all the time
Yeah.
and are
The
scarred by this.
traumatized by it. Yeah.
It does happen.
Bullying is a real thing.
Absolutely.
No,
But
it's
if
true.
back in the day, right, they could have avoided being bullied by beating up the bully, they wouldn't be feeling this way
Dr.
today.
Jerry.
I'm just saying, it's true. This
Okay,
is the
he's got a
truth.
point.
No, but you don't know if that's
it's
true.
hard to
No,
explain to you guys.
But you don't know if they would have been better off beating those kids up. They could have grown up with other traumas.
Jerry?
Let's not look
cannot-
at the bullet.
you
We
can't
can't
say.
focus. It's full
Okay,
of can't
Doctor,
focus.
No,
on
no,
one
no,
thing.
wait. Jerry, what's your
Seriously.
thought on that?
Okay, so the bullet, Glenn made a very good point about them, just keeping it,
Yeah.
keeping everything
Yeah.
within themselves.
Yeah.
And now with more awareness, with all the school counselors, the psychologists, and everyone out there, that's why we encourage the bullet to speak up, because the bullet is actually oftentimes feeling very isolated because nobody dares to come forward. Nobody dares to help them. So, and the bully says, you dare to go and tell anyone, I will beat you up again. So they basically cut off all their social support. Now that's where we do 3 things for the bullied. So one, we want the bullied to speak up, to talk about it, to process it, so that we can work through and ensure it doesn't happen again, because we want to strengthen them. The other thing is to support the victim. Now, this is where I will scold the bystanders. I know that there is a bystander effect, but the victim there needs your support. I don't care if you go, oi, or shout, stop it. Doing something, anything helps. But partaking in it by videoing, by beating up the poor chap, does not help the situation. So the bystanders have also a duty to support the victim. And to support after that is to listen to the victim, because the victim might feel very dismissed. They already feel very small. If we dismiss them anymore, that feeling is going to fester and grow, and they can become the bully also later on.
Later on in life,
The last thing is a more interesting thought for parents and for teachers to think about, is to create self-awareness in the bullied. Because sometimes the bullied don't know their mannerism, the way they talk, the way they speak, can trigger someone to get a little bit irritated with them. So we then teach them, it's not their fault, but we want to create self-awareness so that they break that pattern of continually being bullied.
Yeah.
Sorry, very passionate there.
No. Very good.
You watched The Glory, is it? The Korean show. Did you watch that? This poor girl who gets bullied by a bunch of students. And then she takes revenge on all of them when she grows up.
Someone on our Facebook page said
about
that.
Ren just mentioned that on our Facebook page.
The Glory. Watch that.
Wow. Okay.
And then all of you will agree with me.
It's on Disney Plus or Netflix?
Netflix. Okay. Is it? What's the time now?
That's why we said last word.
45 already.
Okay, last words.
Any final words?
I will
Final
end
words, Jerry.
with something that Gary Edward Goodell, he's a psychotherapist and a psychologist in Switzerland, and he says a good parent is not someone that knows how to be a good parent, but knows how to learn how to be a good parent.
Okay.
That's good.
Good for thought.
Food for thought.
Thank you, Dr. Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry.
I will see all of you next week.
See you next
Bye,
week.
Jerry.
Bye.
Bye.